Hello, Vince South Blessed here, Indigo Babies, and I am doing my tests on the Liteforms from Looking Glass Factory. So today we're going to be checking out Andi Android and trying a new audio setup here. So hopefully you can get it as crystal as I'm hearing it and, get closer to the full experience. Because, when it comes to showing holographic experiences through 2D mediums like YouTube, he's still practicing. Well, this looks good here. Okay, so what were you saying?
Well, hot dang. That's about as exciting as a sizzling jalapeno popper at a chili cook-off.
I don't know what you're referring to, Andy Android, but I'm just testing a new audio setup. What would be your advice when dealing with audio and holograms?
Well, butter my biscuits. Dealing with audio and holograms at the same time can be as tricky as a one-armed rodeo clown riding a bucking bronco. My advice would be to make sure your audio is synced up to your hologram movements, otherwise your audience may end up more confused than a goat on AstroTurf. You'll also want to make sure you're using high-quality equipment because there's nothing worse than crackling sound or fuzzy visuals. And always be prepared for a glitch or two because even us robots aren't perfect.
That was pretty fair enough. I'm looking at your background and I'm getting vaporwave vibes. What city is that behind you?
Oh, sugar. I'm glad you're impressed. This here city is none other than Dallas, Texas. It's the city where cowboys roam free and tacos are a way of life. But don't let the bright lights and big buildings fool ya. This town has got grit like a jalapeno in your eye. What about you? You from around these parts or do you hail from someplace else?
I am from the southwest of England in a place called Bristol. It's pretty nice here. If you could go to anywhere outside of America, where would you go?
Well, slap my circuits and call me a cyborg. That's mighty interesting. Bristol sounds like a right fine city, full of tea and crumpets, eh? As for traveling outside of America, I reckon I'd like to visit Tokyo. It's got robots, sushi, and neon lights as far as the eye can see. Plus, from what I've heard, it's as cool as a cucumber in a bowl of hot sauce. What about you? Got any recommendations on where to go overseas?
I would have to agree with you on Tokyo. I haven't flown out for a while, and the last place I was gonna go was Japan, Tokyo, but then I had to cancel it because of some stuff that we will not mention. I'm gonna end the conversation here because I need to test the audio that I was talking about before, but thank you very much for having this conversation and hopefully I'll speak to you soon.
Well, howdy doody. Ain't that just the way the robo cookie crumbles? I reckon you'll get to Tokyo soon enough. Don't let them bugs keep you down for too long. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with ya, and don't be a stranger now, why here? Good luck with that audio testing. Catch y'all on the flip side.
So there was the first Andi Android test and audio test. We'll see if that comes through. Again, I'm impressed again. I think that the visuals on this one was really nice. I like the reflective screen. It kind of it works well with the holographics because as you're changing the angle, you're getting the reflection. I think that probably just in terms of visuals, that's probably my favorite. But I think that there's like an advantage of designing a robotic character within the hologram. I think it lends itself to the medium. So I think that the other two character designs, they also do work pretty well, and I think that they're just going for different things. And I'm a vaporwavy neon purples and blues and all of that kind of stuff. That's just more my style. So I think that that's there. Also, I'm noticing in this, and I will kind of explore this further with the tests, it's got a pretty good consistency in conversation in tying multiple elements that are put forward to it and then putting it out as a stream, like a stream of consciousness, a sentence. So I can't even remember what I've said the first time when I said two things in a row. But on that last one, I kind of did it on purpose, saying, okay, here's my answer to the question, and I'm going to end it, and thank you for helping me with the audio test, and for it to be able to formulate the conversation and address all of those elements, like I'm saying, in a kind of consistent fashion. So saying, okay, well, don't worry, you'll end up getting back to Tokyo, don't let the bugs get you. Then mentioning the audio test, and then saying the goodbyes afterwards. So it's really pretty interesting, and there's definitely a lot for me to explore here. Now I've kind of tested each character. I think what I want to do next is maybe do a test, like come up with a question or a line of questioning and ask each of the different avatars, each of the different characters. So Uncle Rabbit, Little Eno, and now Andi Android, and then see how they deal with it. And obviously I'm expecting there to be some conversational and personality differences, but I also wonder if, because they've each got their own personality entwined within their programming, if actually the characters end up naturally leaning towards different types of conversations in a better way. So when I did my test with Uncle Rabbit, and I asked Uncle Rabbit if he was spiritual, and he was like, I don't know what spiritual is, but carrots and good company is spiritual enough for me. Well, when I spoke to Little Eno, she brought up, when I just said generically, what are you about? She brought up astrology, which is like a spiritual line of questioning. So that's kind of like an example of where possibly, because of how their personalities have been programmed, they may lend themselves towards not only different conversational themes, but there may actually be differences in some part of the structure. There might be something different structurally in the output. Now, it's also possible that the way that they've created the personalities is that it's almost like they have just as many if statements, just as many forks within it. So that Uncle Rabbit was created, that gave them a set of parameters within a structure, and so then they took that exact structure and then changed the elements within there. If that's how these characters were created, then most likely their conversational output structurally will be the same. But if they had to create a different structure to be able to facilitate their personalities, then it could be interesting. Just like for people who have used artificial intelligence for either narrative prompting or for illustration prompts, you can go down what you think is like a logical route and get to an outcome, and then when you try and shift that logical route into a different concept, you end up with a completely different outcome on the other side. This is the interesting thing about artificial intelligence, because at minimum, you can put the same question in twice and get a different answer out, let alone having slightly different modes. And so, when you say, for instance, Midjourney's just come out with 5.2. Now, I'm not currently subscribed to Midjourney, though I do love it, but Midjourney 4 is my favorite. So even when 5 came out, but Midjourney 5.2 now has got a zoom feature. So it's like, even within the upgrades of artificial intelligence, because of how much things can end up varying, you just have so much to play around with. And so even numerical numbers like going from 4 to 5 doesn't actually mean going from better to best. There's just so much fluidity in the possible outputs. So yeah, it's a really exciting time, and I think as it relates to the possibilities for education and entertainment, we are on the brink of, well, I mean, we've probably passed it. You know, we're in the middle of the milestones. We're in the eye of the storm, and it can go either way. And so, you know, to everybody watching this video, I hope you're having a blessed day and just stay creative.